Good afternoon. How are you today? It's Tuesday, and we're still rocking and rolling down here in Atlanta, and my guest is in Montana. Let me tell you, most of us feel that our to-do list is way too long, but if we're crystal clear on our brand, we'll be laser focused, and that will streamline our efforts. Then it's a matter of just attracting our audience's attention to us, to our message, and our products. My guest today will share more about that and how she's doing it in her many business ventures. Hi, I'm Patricia Durgan, and this is Marketers on a Mission. We present marketing tutorials and interviews by and for Christian writers, speakers, and authors. This is episode number 152, 8 Keys to Do-It-Yourself Online Marketing with Almeda Bradshaw. Hello, Almeda. How are you?
Hi, Patricia. I am fine. How are you?
We're doing so good. It's a privilege. You're so experienced and accomplished, and you've won so many awards. It's a real treat. And you're our first, technically, artist, not a traditional author or speaker, but you still have those elements for sure, don't you?
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
I'm writing just with a different little twist to it. That's all.
Yes. You describe yourself on your website as a Western Renaissance woman, which I love that description. Tell us what that means to you. What should we know about you when we hear that phrase, Almeda?
Well, to me, a Renaissance woman, man, person is somebody who has multiple abilities, talents, that has just a lot of knowledge or experience in a wide variety of areas. And I enjoy the various arts that I'm involved with, the written word, playing music. I do graphic and visual arts as well, though I'm not very active in that right now, but it was a part of my life for quite a long time, especially through my school years and such. But and someday I hope to get back into it. But right now it's written word and music.
And that's keeping you plenty busy, isn't it?
Pardon me?
And that's keeping you plenty busy, isn't it?
Oh boy, it is. It's very, very time consuming, and it's really great. I'm glad. I'm blessed to be doing it. So
I know that you are a very busy, very booked up live entertainer. You're a songwriter, a poet. We're not going to cover all of it, but it's a lot. A recording artist. You train American quarter horses. You're a host for Airbnb, and you're the owner of a bunkhouse. That's what you do during the day.
That's right. That's right. You know, they always say, don't quit your day job, right? when you go into the arts. And so I do have a day job, which is managing our rental properties. And I do that through Airbnb as one of my vehicles, of course, for getting people in, and Craigslist, so on and so forth. I used to actually do a bed and breakfast, but that was like having a milk cow, and I couldn't get a lot of the traveling done that I wanted to do, so I just rent my rooms out. So yeah, that's my day job is the rental management. So and when I have time, I do music and everything.
That's just a big to-do list right there. I'm just imagining.
It is.
You've been doing it for a while, so you've got a system, don't you?
That's right. Just like any business venture, you typically start out doing a lot yourself. And as you go along and you get the system figured out, then you can pull in employees and hire help. And so far, I have turned my book work over to an accounting agency. I have my housework is hired out, and all of my yard work is hired out. I used to do it all, 100%. And so now I just can't do it all and then still give the energy and the focus, the time I want to give to my creative outlet. So that's why I have hired help. And my latest one is a new young gal who I'm going to hire to do sort of my paperwork, all of my receipts. See, when you work for yourself, you got to keep track of everything. So every single receipt is taken care of and blah, blah, blah. So this little gal is going to come in and start helping me with that tedious paperwork of the receipts and credit card statements and all that stuff. And she's also, I'm hoping, going to start working with me to do some of the working on my website and updating my schedule, so on and so forth. So I am really excited. I'm actually a small business with employees now. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. When did the entrepreneurial bug bite you?
Well, I believe it's kind of always been there. And I have been a small business owner in one way or another since my children were little. My very first honest to goodness business of my own was I opened a licensed home daycare. See, I had 3 little girls. I was a single parent. And so I went through all the hoops of getting licensed and doing what I needed to do to the house I was in. And I did that for one whole school year. And then my other businesses have been teaching music. I had an actual music store for a while in Big Sandy, Montana, and so on. I just have always kind of enjoyed working for myself and being involved in doing my own thing. I guess it is.
And you've been successful. How nice. How nice. Now you told us on your website you've always wanted to be a cowgirl. And did that trace back to a family member that you loved and adored, or was it just innately in you with the spirit?
No, I really think it's that thing that's in a lot of young girls. Don't ask me why or where it comes from, but I just loved horses forever. And I was the only one in my family that had the least bit of interest in it. We were a town family, white collar, professional parents, that kind of my stay-at-home mom and a professional dad. My mother loved horses too, of course. And I don't know if maybe there was something in my childhood growing up that she encouraged it or whatever. But I do know that I got, for my 3rd Christmas, I got the whole little cowgirl outfit, right? The boots, the hat, everything. I was 3 years old, and I was riding my trike like a little horse. So it's been there for a really, really long time, and I just have pursued it. It's never gone away, and I enjoy it, love it, and that's become my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds really like a very full but wonderful lifestyle.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Let me check Facebook and see if we have any comments or questions, Almeda. Kate Barker says, hello. Hi, Kate. So good to see you. Let's get rid of that. And we have 5 people watching. Kate so far.
Yay, hello. Thank you for tuning in. How fun.
Yes, yes. So you've loved music and singing all of your life. But first, before we get to that part, tell us how many musical instruments you play. It's a long list.
Well, I jokingly say I can play anything with a string, from, in varying degrees of efficiency or inefficiency, however you wish to look at it. I'm more accomplished on some than others. I'm classically trained on the cello. In fact, I just started playing the cello again with my worship team at church. I have been sort of away from doing worship music for a while. And so just this last Sunday, I sat in with my cello, and it was just marvelous. So play the cello and the violin. I play the guitar, mandolin, dulcimer. I can get around on a banjo a little bit. And like I said, once you sort of know the concept of how to play a stringed instrument, it's really transferable. You can transfer it from one to another. But again, you might not be like totally master the instrument, right? Yeah, so, yeah. But you can pluck away on it.
So you've been singing now. Is it 20 years that you've been singing professionally?
No, well, let's see. Yeah, I guess so. Well, I've been singing all my life, but actually stepping out and doing it for money professionally, 10 years. This is my 10th anniversary of stepping out, producing product, CDs, making it a business, and making it work. Yeah.
How did you go from loving it all of your entire life, and I mean, you were really in it and still are, singing, songwriting, writing poetry, putting things to music, creating your own. Then one day you were a professional. Was that a leading of the Holy Spirit? Was it a business decision?
It was kind of a business decision, a decision of necessity. I went through a divorce, and I knew that I had to keep working. I was too young to not work and not wealthy enough to not work. So I looked at my skill set, and I decided I did not want to go back into school teaching. I had been an elementary K through 8 school teacher, but I just knew that that was not where I could go. I do have a hearing loss, and that does affect my ability to work with children in groups, background noise. Also, sometimes when you're visiting with children, they may not speak directly or clearly, and if you have to continually ask them to repeat themselves, it's just awkward. And so I knew because of that I could not go back into teaching. And I didn't really want to go back to school and retrain and then begin to compete with a younger generation of folks out there for the same job. And so I just said, it's time to put my music skills to work. And I began to do that. I just said, this is what I'm going to do, and did it.
When you did it, I mean, you were recognized for your accomplishments and your giftedness right away. You've gotten all kinds of awards and nominations. It's a big, long list.
Oh, well, yes. I mean, when you say right away, I mean, yeah, it's taken me, actually, the biggest part for me was to be recognized for my songwriting within the last 3 years or so. My first 2 albums were nice and they were well done. They did get a little bit of recognition. But then when my third album came out, Lovers, Wives, and Mothers, A Western Woman's Voice, that one garnered 3 nominations from 3 different organizations, Western organizations, for 2 for song and 1 for album of the year. Now, I didn't win any of them, but that's quite all right, because just to be recognized and to be included in the top 5, the people that are riding the wave at that time meant a lot to me. So it was, you just don't have instant success in anything. You have to work at it and watch what you're doing, observe what you're doing, and see where can I make it better? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? And make changes and adjust, and never, ever quit. Never quit.
Okay, now that means something really strong to you. To elaborate on that for us.
Pardon me, I missed that.
Never quit, never quit. Right. That's very strong in you. I can hear it and feel it. Yeah. Elaborate on that. It does take a strength. There's some fiber in there, I think, naturally. I'm a very type A, kind of a high energy. My husband calls me the energizer bunny. I'll slow down enough to say that. But I've had some setbacks. I've felt a lot of hurt and disappointment, but I just had to assess it. It's like, you can't quit. You just have to keep going. I've invested my life. I've invested my money in this, and I listen to people. And that's a hard thing, too, in the entertainment music industry, because nobody ever wants to tell you anything negative, because if they hurt your feelings, then you won't like them, and you won't vote for them when it comes time for nominations and blah, 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 blah. So I really listen very carefully to what people say, and I filter it through sort of a degree of sincerity and and I will probe sometimes, and I find certain people who I know I can trust, that I can take aside and say, can you tell me what I need to do better? What do you think of what I did, my writing, my performance, anything? And you surround yourself with those key people who you trust will tell you the truth. Yes.
Okay.
It seems to me that, excuse me, I talked over you. I didn't mean to. I apologize. It seems to me that you have developed, with Christ's help, a great balance of, here's my giftedness, I'm in my giftedness, I know what it feels like to feel that pleasure of doing that and pleasing Him. At the same time, running a business and not feeling that there's a conflict between the two. They're actually 2 sides to the same coin for you, aren't they?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah. It's a very personal thing that we do when we write or we create poetry, a novel, a story, a song, and then put it out there for people to engage in. And you want feedback, so it's a very personal thing, but at the same time you have to be objective on the business side of it, and again, not let a bad review or not let one of those, oh, that was so nice type of pats on the back, where you could feel that there was, the person really wasn't thinking much about it at all. You just can't let those stop you. You need to evaluate them, take them for what they are, and use them to motivate you to do better and to keep going. So that's just what I do.
Well, it sounds like you do it very well. Let me check Facebook again. John L. Moore. I think we know him, don't we?
Hi, John.
He says, good stuff, Almeda. And T.E. Bradford says hello. So good to see you all. I was interested to see that a reviewer wrote about your singing. Almeda's sincere style relates the romance and reality of cowboy life. That's interesting. That's an interesting quote, and it's not just your boilerplate quote. She's a great gal, and she does a great job.
Right. Those are the pats on the back kind of comments that I was referring to. Yeah, you look for things that, and then I always look at the source. You must look at the source. When we all know that, my gosh, if we got a great review from some great literary organization, we all know, yes, great. It's like the Pulitzer Prize winner. You know what I mean? So you always look at your source. Be honest. And so when I look at the quotes that I have, kept in reference to my work, and I look at those people, and I'm saying that means something to me that person would say that, and so I stand. I don't let the doubts come in. I realize that is the truth, and the truth about me and my work, my art. And those are the great things that just kind of keep you pumped to keep you going. So, yeah.
Now, how far afield do you go? I know you serve and you sing and you perform locally and regionally. How far do you go out into the nation?
Wherever they'll pay me.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I will go wherever. I travel. In fact, this is one of the things you're going to find. I don't care if it's a book or a CD. You become the fuller brush person of your product. And one of the only ways, really, for me to get my CDs sold is to go out in the public and sing, present myself, create an emotional connection at the time. People buy CDs, they'll buy your book because obviously they're intrigued to go on this journey with you. As John says, the book is a journey, and you're inviting people to come and join it with you in that story. So you want them to, sometimes they'll buy a CD as a souvenir of that experience, or whatever. So, but boy, you got product, you got to travel to get it sold. If you're lucky to have a publisher, I'm an independent artist, totally self-published. I do everything myself. So I have to do all of that. If you're lucky enough to have a publisher, they can help you with your advertising and your promotion and getting your book into bookstores and so on. So, yeah.
Is that natural to you, or did it become natural as you did it, Almeda?
What, traveling about and stuff?
Representing yourself.
Oh, yes. Well, that is totally a Christ thing. This is Jesus in my life, because if you knew me, 10, 20 years ago, well, let's go way back. No, I'm talking like in my 20s, my teens especially. I was so introverted and so mortified and afraid of public speaking. In fact, I had to beg for a passing grade in my speech required communications class that you have to take in college for a passing grade. She was kind enough to give me one. But I'll tell you what, it's amazing. But it is also like riding a bike. The more you do it, the easier it gets, because what happens is you receive positive feedback. You are stoked by it. It's a good thing. And sharing our lives, sharing our story, especially our lives and stories in relationship to Jesus Christ, is the most important thing you can possibly do with your life, period. And so I love doing that. I share through my songs, my life, my faith, and I just love telling stories. Loves telling stories through song. So,
And you even make yourself available for fundraisers if an organization, a nonprofit organization would would invite you, and you make yourself available. Your giftedness helps them raise money for their cause.
That's right. That's right. And I wish I was, one of the things I discovered when I put out my album, Lovers, Wives, and Mothers, I dedicated it to women and human being rescued from human and sex trafficking. And I began to contact organizations that help women to escape and rehabilitate and restore their lives. But what I quickly found out is I'm not really very well known. I'm just sort of a tiny little grain of sand along the beach of many, many people. And what I found was they would be looking oftentimes for more big name, recognizable names that would draw in big crowds. And so that was an interesting experience for me to realize that here I am. I was like, here I am. I'm the best thing since sliced bread, and I want to do a fundraiser for you. And it's like they weren't interested. Mm-hmm. And so that was one of those things that I had to evaluate and deal with and go, well, I see that now. I'm probably not what they're looking for. Now, again, there's all different levels of fundraisers from local, and I'm way active here in Billings with my own community, and becoming more so all the time. But, for me to show up in Colorado Springs for the community that I worked with there for a little while, they're going to bring in somebody else. So that was one of those little things I learned.
We have to make adjustments, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And realize that but see, I'm a vision person. I see where I could go. I have pictures of what I could be doing. And so I start to pursue those. And I haven't totally given up on the fact that there may be a day when I can do a fundraising concert for somebody, and at whatever level it's at, it'll be my joy and pleasure to do it.
I think it's very important for everyone, including me, to remember what you're just talking about. If the Lord closes the door today, that may or may not have anything to do with the doors He opens in the future.
Absolutely. This is the best part about life, period, is the adventure. And you have no idea where it's going. You don't know, and we choose our paths and we make our decisions every day. And this one will go for a while, and then you just don't know where it's going to go, who you're going to meet. It's an amazing journey, and I'm loving every bit of it.
Well, you're making me, energizing me too.
All right.
Excuse me. Let me look back at Facebook. T. Bradford asks, do you use an app to write your music? And if so, do you find there's one that you prefer or that works best for what you do?
No, I don't use an app. But I am not in. I have used one. Right now I can't recall what it is, and it was quite some time ago. I was actually scoring one of my songs for a string quartet, and so I used it to do the different parts, and so I really can't recommend one over another. But primarily I write the words, and then I just create chord sheets or lead sheets, and that's kind of what I do. So
okay, all right. Thanks very much.
Yeah,
thanks for asking that, T. Well, let's go to the marketing element. You manage 2 websites, 3 Facebook pages, and a Facebook group, along with the responsibilities of your other businesses. I'm tired looking at the list.
Yeah. Well, I got a kick out of that. I manage them, but I don't know how well. I do. One of the really cool things about these different engines or these platforms online is they actually connect with each other. Yeah. And my 2. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the building part. This is the building part. Branding is yourself, creating who you are, and then you need to build that presence online, right? Mm-hmm. And interestingly, I just got my recent copy of Western Writers of America, which I'm a member of, and I read a little blurb in there that somebody said, websites are passé, okay? That blog, you need to blog, keep it fresh, well, I disagree entirely. A website is like your online business card. I'm constantly directing people to my website to find out who I am, what I do, what other people are saying. If you go to my website, it has numerous pages, and I just got booked for a gig in St. George, Utah in January on our way to Vegas. And the guy said, whoa, you've got a very impressive resume. Okay, that's how he referred to my website, as my resume. So don't underestimate a website. It is your online business card, resume, recommendations, images, pictures of what you do. You could put excerpts of your writing. I have all my music on there. Website, number one, absolutely important. Now, the other one that I do is more of a genre supported website. It's called Reverb Nation, which is specifically for music people. And that one, I kind of tend to let go. I don't have enough time to spend on that. That's why I'm hoping with this new girl I get, I'm going to have either more time or she's going to start helping me do it. So anyway, but what I find is that when I put my gigs in my schedule on my website, it links automatically over to Reverb Nation. So they're listed on Reverb Nation as well. Whoa, thank you, technology. Saves me having to do it twice. Right. So Reverb Nation, those are my two websites. And then on Facebook, that's a whole other management thing. I have my personal page, and then I have my singer page. But what I find I end up doing, and then I have my Western Writers or Western Music Association Mondax chapter page, and I have another one and another one. So anyway, but my main one I end up interacting with almost all the time is my personal one. Mm-hmm. Now they say, don't mingle your personal with your business, your music. Okay, well, I wish I could be that cut and dried and only put my music to my music page and only put my personal to my personal page, but I blend the two. I especially blend my personal. Now I don't put the personal on my music page, okay? But I do on my personal. It's just, I just can't, separate it, I guess. Mm-hmm. But the theory behind that is to keep business, business, and personal, personal. And if they want, and the personal is very important because that's part of your branding. You want people in this day and age of impersonal, electronic, social, you know what I'm talking about? Yes. You want a personal connection. So that's what your personal page is supposed to do. And they can go and see you and your family, where you live, your activities in the community and whatever you're doing. And then if they want to find out about business, they go to your business music page. Okay. So anyway, I do the best I can, and maybe the more help I get, the better I'll get. Anyway,
the story of our life.
Yeah.
I propose to my clients to not have multiple websites or pages, but there are times, and yours is one of them, because we're not talking about three that are very similar. They're not sisters. They're distant cousins at best. You are the connecting link to those three pages and those two websites, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it only makes sense. People are coming to you for this at this location for this information, and they're not necessarily going to be interested in the other parts of your business and personal.
Right. Yeah. So that yes, if I'm hearing, definitely have a website. That is just the most important thing, and that's where people go to find out everything about you and your writing, your work. Your creativity. Yeah, definitely.
The photos on your website, there's other places too, but the photos on your website are stunning.
Oh, well, I have a wonderful photographer. I've actually worked with two very good professional photographers, Lori Faith of Tucson, Arizona, and my current photographer, Anita Crane of Park City, Utah. and they do wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Yeah, good photos is so important. I mean, maybe not, and you don't need such a variety as an author, but I am a public person. I do public entertainment, and so I have various outfits. I have various types of programs I do, and so yeah, it's you're creating a much more dynamic, I guess would be a word, relationship with your audience, because you want well, heck, everybody wants lots of people to show up no matter what it is, whether it's a book signing or whatever. So hey, have all the pictures you want. That's what you should do.
Let me go through these 8 points that we were talking about. The branding is, and this is not news to you, I'm sharing information you've already shared with me. Define who you are, define your mission, and define your audience. And that's the infrastructure, isn't it?
That is what branding is, and in many ways, it's kind of, that's what you have to do. Who are you? Me. I'm Western. I'm not rap. I'm not pop. I'm not this or that. I'm Western, so I know who I am. And then what do I want to do with my music? Well, as Christians, of course, we want to touch people's hearts for God and to bring glory to Him. And even though I do have secular music, my music tends to be positive in message and shares history. And that's what Western music is very value laden. We like to talk about the R's, like ranching, roping, riding, rodeo, respect, responsibility, hard work. Okay. So anyway, where was I? Okay. So your mission. Yeah. What you're doing with your writing. I mean, purpose in life is very critical. Without purpose, we do, that's where I think depression can lead in. Without purpose, without really knowing who you are and why you are. That's critical. And then, what was the last one? I just
Define your audience.
Audience, yeah. Okay. Who are you appealing to? And as a writer, every writer knows that. That's like writing 101. Who's your audience? Okay. So, yeah, I don't need to elaborate on that. So, yeah.
For the building, the 5 points are attract the public to you and your product. And one of those basic ways, is showing up and being present and being interested in what they're doing and so forth. Mm-hmm. A website, which you say is so very important, and every professional agrees. Even if our website needs a little bit of work, or if we're very happy with it just the way it is, we're cognizant of the fact that we've got to have that presence. A blog, Facebook, and other platforms. And you say other platforms, only as many as you can manage.
Right. And that's when I say other platforms, that's kind of like where that Reverb Nation came in. Mm-hmm. I was building I got onto Reverb Nation, which is a very, very music specific. That's what it's all about. And one of the very cool things about it is it has a constant running stream of notifications of festivals and opportunities for work, which is amazing. Wow. And so it's constantly feeding you places that you can apply for work, for acceptance into to a festival or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so that's really cool. There are websites. All you have to do is Google websites for authors. And I did that. And a bunch of them came up. So you can find websites that are designed for authors and are very supportive of your genre and what you're doing. And then the next thing about that, I would say, is really do some research and talk to a lot of authors and find out what websites they're doing. Look at their websites. I used a couple of very talented and very successful women. Junie Fisher and Mary Kay have been my model, and I've tried to follow them, and I looked at who they were using for their websites, and I've discovered through Mary Kay Bandzoogle. I believe it was. And that's a great website. I do all my own work on it. That's very user-friendly. So that's what you got to do. Do your research. Find one that looks good. That is so important. But it's got to also be you that builds it. So make sure it's easy to make look good. Okay?
Yes.
You got to make it look good.
Absolutely.
Unless you hire somebody. If you're rich and famous, you can hire somebody to do it for you.
I think we have another Facebook question.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what's going on here. I had to process it again. Well, I could have sworn there was another question here. Let me check and see, Almeda. I don't want to leave anybody behind. We're almost ready to close out. I know you've got you have an appointment elsewhere. Janelle Wood says, thank you for sharing this great info. It's good to see you, Janelle. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let me check this. And tell me one more time before we get off. You had mentioned to me pre-program. Hey, Susan, how are you? It's good to see you. You were mentioning to me that your songs are not just hopeful, that they go deeper, and then they bring the hope up. Now, you said it differently. Tell us about that, please.
Gosh. Sometimes I can't remember what I had for breakfast. I remember what I said. Okay. Well, my songs really come from my heart. They come from the heart of a woman. And, I have found that because I grew up in a home that was plagued by depression and lots of struggles, it's something that I have overcome. And through the saving grace of Christ, it's been a huge factor in the fact that I am as joyful and as full of life and as easy to talk to people as I am now because of Jesus. And but I still write often from a heart of sorrow, a lot of sorrow. And but I do also write songs of joy that help to lift people up from that. And so anyway, I just want to write songs and bring people joy and lift them up.
You had mentioned to me that you particularly appeal to those who are downtrodden or have been downtrodden, and they just, the hopelessness factor is either there present now or they've just gotten a level or two above that, and that your songs, your words, the message in your heart, that you lift them up and give them hope and energize for the next day and the next go round.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this life is really it can really beat us up. And I am so blessed by safety, security. Every day I am so thankful and blessed to be where I am. And I can only stop and think at times about people that don't have this and how difficult it can be. And I really, really have a heart for trying to lift people up and bring them joy.
Just as you're talking, coming through. Yeah, I found what I was looking for. Kate Barker says, I sure admire your cowgirl can-do attitude. And John Moore says, you two are a pair. I wish you could be bottled. That's great. That could be dangerous.
Thank you, John.
Oh, thank you so much for meeting with me, visiting with us, telling us your story, helping us learn more about your message. Your heart comes through. We're miles and miles apart, but your heart comes through. Praise God.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Thank you, viewers, for being with us today. This has been episode number 152 of Marketers on a Mission, 8 Keys to Do-It-Yourself Online Marketing with Almeda Bradshaw. Tomorrow, author, speaker, and minister Robin Bertram will join us. She's going to present a workshop on how to become a traditionally published author. You're going to want to hear this. We're here every day to serve you. We're here for you, exclusively for you. Every weekday at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. This program is we want to help you learn the craft of writing, speaking, being an artist, following Christ, obeying Him, putting your message, but not stopping there, putting your message not just in your local area, but online, because that's where the bulk of the world is. We want to reach others for Christ. We must go online and become comfortable with being online. And Almeda is a great example of that. She's rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for being with us. And thank you, Miss Almeda, again for joining me.
Patricia, my pleasure entirely. Okay.
We'll see you tomorrow.